Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls forth Lana Sky. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. Court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Objection? Threatening the witness? Crimes? Crimes? All the crimes. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Not murder, at best manslaughter. And the evidence provided that we've all discussed about would indicate that, it wasn't done out of malicious intent. She was trying to stop a person who was going to murder another person. It would be like, yeah. No, sorry, Gant. Your threats don't hold water. But then again, this game hasn't been following the law at all anyway. So why should I expect it to start now? This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such an outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court Lobby, Defendant Lobby number 2. Man, we've been going at this for 4 hours. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Yeah, by something else you mean terrible. Yes. Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean? Maya? Yeah. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief's done it again. How does he always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, it's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Hey, Emma. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. Think all this time. My sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. She did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, forced herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. No! It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. You didn't murder him! Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. Yeah. You know, intent, murder requires intent. You know that, right? You want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Wow, that was one of the first things I absolutely agree about in this game. Especially this society. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, better get back. Time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going in with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be concluded. Not continued. Do. Save your progress to this point. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I've worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Really? Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana, if this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Defense now begin its cross-examination. Gant and the fabrication. Worked alongside Gant for years. Well, let's press. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so it'd be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. Personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's There's no truth behind this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. Thank you! Thank you! She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. Say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Seems I was the first person to discover the scene. Broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Really, that's not what's being shown here. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. In reality, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that? If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. Oh, just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Really? Planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound? Then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? Also, how? I mean, yes, you can break a steel tip, but, like, that's not something you can do idly or quickly. You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I'd ask for the sake of others. Yeah, why'd you move the body? When you showed me on the scene where exactly the victim's body. It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why'd you move it there? Reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. Reason Miss Guy moved the body. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Really? Pieces of the jar, you mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier, in order to show that Dark committed the crime. Felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed? But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. Yeah. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Yeah, the jar. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motive was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Really? Yeah. It was shattered at the time.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring it to everyone's attention. Significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? You testify, and I quote, "Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. You have a problem with that? Simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar in the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. At least, not how we found it. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed regarding this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor? Seems you're in the dark as we are, about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. Witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and the message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, and I hadn't had time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Jar and message in blood. Immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Certainly looks as feeble as the defense's claim, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps in my case. Lana, you do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? You really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall? You wouldn't have wiped away the blood? What else could I have done in the situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? Should have been pitch black in the office. Detective was always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. But I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. So sorry, Lana. I didn't know. treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. Still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Sister really putting up a fight? She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradiction in her testimony. One final possibility that might turn everything around. Well, we didn't... Yeah, there were parts that weren't in there. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth that even you were unaware. What? We found this final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There was something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant simply miss a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. Pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That very well me, but everyone makes mistakes. Even once I wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth though all along. Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, there's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. The other person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here! Him and Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. When we come back, the final testimony. Have a good one, folks.